Hello, old gun guy here. Welcome to my video today. It's going to be on the Remington Model 7.99 mini Mauser that was imported by Remington after it was acquired. Remington in 2000 was acquired by a hedge fund company, which promptly in the next decade and a half ran it into the ground. But in 2006 or 7 to about 2008, they started importing lower priced firearms for their catalog, and they contracted, I guess, with Zastava in the former Yugoslavia. It's in Serbia actually, and it's marked on this rifle. The Model 7.99 was the mini Mauser. It was scaled for intermediate cartridges, like the 7.62x39mm, which this rifle is in. We're going to the cartridge first and then the rifle. And the 7.98, which was a full-size Mauser, scaled for 30.06 class cartridges. And it mostly is a semi-scaled down Mauser, but it's not exactly. It's close. Tractive rifle. I acquired this very inexpensively a few years ago. I guess it was out of favor, but it only came in the United States a few years under the Remington banner. I'm going to the cartridge first. This rifle's chambered for probably the most prevalent or widely used cartridge in the entire world, the 7.62x39mm, the Soviet round, or the Russian round, the 30 Russian short, as Colonel Jeff Cooper used to refer to this as, intermediate power assault rifle cartridge. And that term heckles a lot of people, but that's what it was. It's a 30 caliber cartridge, came out in 1943. I believe the Russians were highly impressed when they were on the receiving end of the German version of this, the 7.92x33 Kurtz, the Sturmgewehr cartridge. They set out to develop their own intermediate cartridge because in the actual combat, 95% of the combat took place 300 yards or less. So you really didn't need a rifle cartridge that was effective to 1,000 yards. And that's why they developed these scaled down cartridges. Extensive history, development, and books have been written about this particular cartridge. But it was designed for initially the SKS rifle and the AK-47 rifle, the famed fully automatic assault rifle by the Soviet Union, and then adopted by all of its satellite countries and allies, Communist Chinese, Eastern Europe. There's probably 70 or 80 or 100 million AK-47s floating around the world. Millions and millions of SKS carbines, PKM machine gun, not PKM machine guns, RPK machine guns, RPD machine guns. They'll fire in this cartridge. The bullet weights, it operates at modest pressure. It's about 45,000 psi max chamber pressure. That's what the SAMI spec in the United States is for. This is a Russian round loaded by the Tula ammo, a Tula arsenal, Wolf. The thing with the 7.62x39, it was very cheap and widely popular. Even in the 1980s, you had Chinese ammo that was extremely cheap. You get 1,000 rounds for $50. But that was banned because it was allegedly armor piercing. There's a whole big story with that. But it's an intermediate power rifle cartridge. It is, in the power range, it is close to the 30-30 Winchester, but not quite. It's inferior to that. It fires lighter bullets and not as high velocity. And it can be utilized for hunting game up to the size of deer with a proper bullet. The useful bullet weights for the 7.62x39 run from about 100 grains to 154 grains. There are hunting loads for this cartridge with 150 grain bullets, with soft point bullets. and 123 or 125 grain soft point bullets. The standard loading is 122 or 123 grain full metal jacket projectile, boat tail, and that's what this is. This is standard full metal jacket. Tool ammo. This was very cheap and available, but since the war between Russia and Ukraine, both the Ukrainian importation of this has stopped, and obviously they're using the war, and so is the Russian importation, sanctions or whatever, and all the ammo's dried up. This ammunition is being manufactured by other people, brass cased ammo, but price-wise it approaches almost the cost of a .308 ball. Much more powerful, much more versatile cartridge. Its effective range was designed really for 300 yards, 400 yards out of an SKS. SKSs usually have longer barrels than AKs. The rifle in question here, the Model 7.99 Remington, made by Zastava in Serbia, has a 20-inch barrel also. I don't go too deep in the woods with the 7.62x39, other than say it is, widely useful. I initially acquired this rifle because I had other semi-automatic firearms in 7.62x39, and I ran across this, and it was a very reasonable price. No scope on it. I put the scope on it, but I believe at the time the dealer only wanted $300 for it. Nobody wanted this rifle. It was a bolt-action rifle in 7.62x39. Because I had other firearms chambered in 7.62x39, I thought it'd be nice to have a bolt-action rifle to tinker around with, and I did. I shoot it occasionally. It's an attractive rifle. We'll go over the rifle now. This is Remington 7.99. It's got no iron sights, smooth barrel, very nice bluing on the barrel and the steel, the metal parts. It has a laminated stock, and it's very attractive laminated stock. It's a nice walnut color to it. Steel bottom metal. The action is scaled down. The size for 7.62x39 or 223 Remington cartridge. I believe Remington imported 5 different calibers. This came in the 223, the 22-250, which I wouldn't be wasting a 22-250 out of a 20-inch barrel rifle. 7.62x39, I believe 22 Hornet, and 222 Remington, which is a old bench rest cartridge. I'm having trouble talking today. It's the parent to the 223 Remington, the military cartridge, but it's a scaled down light rifle. Rifle weighs maybe 6 1/4 pounds. It's got nice checkering, and I don't have my trigger pull gauge down here. I'll have to do in the summary, but I'm gonna say 5-6 pounds. A little bit of creep, not bad. Like all Mauser actions, the cock's on opening. It has a safety here on the rear side of the right side of the back of the receiver. Back is safe, and forward is fire. It's a little clunky. Has an angled flat here. It says Remington Model 7.99. I don't know if that'll show up on camera. USSG Rockledge, Florida. I guess that's the importer. Zastava, Serbia. So Zastava made lots of guns for Charles Daly, I think Whitworth. A lot of Mausers came through them importers or those firearm companies. Like I said, this one was made for Remington. There are other companies that make mini Mausers. CZ, Seska Zabrovka. They have, I think it's their 527. It's a scaled down, mini Mauser action. I think they're making a 7.62x39. There's a lot of American firearms, Ruger Mini 30, semi-automatic rifle, all the AK variants, AK-47 variants, AKM variants, SKS variants, all fire on that cartridge. As far as bolt guns, the CZ, the Charles Daly guns, the earlier ones, this Remington, little scaled down mini Mauser action. It's got almost like a Remington BDL. The floor plate detaches, you can drop the rounds out the bottom. Comes out like that. It's got a nice little, put this back in there. There we go. Side button you push. Just push this little button here, boop, and you can unload the gun. Magazine holds 4 cartridges. That was the 7.62x39. I don't know about the other calibers. And we got this hung up good. Always the way. Alright. There we go. For some reason it hung up. Spring got hung up in the action. But the bolt comes out just like the Mauser. It's got a lever here on the left side of the action. It's very stiff. Pulled up, dropped it out the back. Good thing we got a towel on the table here. This is the bolt. Okay, it's Mauser-like, but it's not a Mauser. It looks like it has a full claw extractor. It does not. It's all for looks. It does have a ejector slot cut through its the left locking lug. It's a 90-degree action, 2 locking lugs, and this does rotate, but it has a extractor right here. It's not part of the Mauser bolt. I'm going to pull a Mauser bolt out from, ironically, as a Stava-made Serbian or Yugoslavian Mauser. This is M48 7.92x57 8mm Mauser. You can see that's the claw extractor on a real Mauser bolt. The 2 lugs are in there. It's a lot bigger than the mini Mauser bolt, and you can see it's obviously, you know, it looks close, but it's not the same. And obviously the bolt faces are very much different in size. The 7.62 fitting in the bolt face like that. Bolt goes back in the gun just like the big Mauser. You're gonna line up the locking lugs and the receiver. This mini Mauser always gives me a hard time putting the bolt back in. Gotta take my glasses off to see the side. This little side piece was just slightly out of alignment. It goes in like the Mauser bolt, but Yugoslavian M48 bolt in, real easy. So it's not exactly a Mauser 98 bolt, but it's close approximation. It's got a nice Monte Carlo cheek piece here on this laminated stock. I mounted an old Burris 2x7x35 American-made hunting scope, variable powered, 35mm objective. It's got the scope caps. Fits this gun kind of nice. I have a similar scope on my 350 Remington Magnum deer rifle, Model 7. Similar size gun in concept anyway. Do the chronograph. As I filmed some of this out of sync, out of sequence, the one camera, the memory card popped out, the secondary camera, so I lost the close-up footage on the chronograph of me firing the rounds. I'm going to fire, I have some hand loads, ironically enough, from 28 years ago. I loaded these for an SKS. I found them in my ammo cabinet by accident. 123 grain full metal jacket projectile. If you want the reloading data, there's Lapua brass. 123 grain spear full metal jacket. 22 grains of IMR 4227 powder. Remington 9.5 primer, and it was loaded in February 15, 1997. So I'll run this over the chronograph out of this 20-inch barreled 7.99 Remington, and the hand loads. Do an accuracy test, both loads, 100 yards on a paper target. I'll do some distance shooting at the plates. I get 220 yards on the bench, 150, 100, 80, 50, you know. I'll do some offhand shooting, shoulder gun cycling at some of the plates, comparative recoil like I do with the 223 Savage. They're going to be identical. Ballistic pendulums, the little 8-inch plates, 223 versus the 7.62x39. Bolt gun Savage out of the Remington. What else would I do? Thermal effects test. Yeah, I'll do the thermal effects test, and then a few other things, whatever I can think of. And I'll come back for the summary. You'll see how this little bolt gun in 7.62x39, made by the Serbians, performs. It's a fun little gun to shoot, you know. Like I said, it's not the equal of the 30-30. 30-30, shooting 150 grain bullets, you're going to get 2,500 feet a second out of a 20-inch barrel, where the 7.62x39, about 2,150. So maybe 80% of the velocity and energy. You know, you can get 122 or 125 grain soft points, probably better for the 7.62x39, and it would be adequate for deer, I would say, to 150 yards. And that's what we'll do. So let's get to the shooting test, and then we'll come back. Going to do a quick little chronograph test on our Remington 7.99 Serbian Mauser. Zastava made it. They come in the country for 3 years under Remington. Let me see a close up on the model and name. This is a 7.62x39. I have the first two shots on the chronograph will be this Wolf Otula, made in Russia, 7.62x39 full metal jacket. And number two will be this brass cased reload that I reloaded 28 years ago that I happened to find in my, my little ammo cabinet. 7.62x39. We'll get the baseline velocities for the two. The other camera's running on the chronograph. Rifle's already loaded. Just put my ears on, take the shots. First up is the Tula. $2,482. It's got pretty positive ejection too. $2,408. Now for my 28-year-old hand loads. Let me change the string. Okay. $22.49. And $22.83. It looks like the Tooler is about 100 feet a second faster than my hand loads, and this is a 20-inch barrel. An AK has a 16-inch barrel, or shorter if you get an SBR. SKSs usually have a 20-inch barrel, so you do get a little bit improved velocity. Okay, on to the next demonstration. All right, little comparative recoil test. They should actually be the same. This is always my base. It's a Savage 223, Savage Axis. One shot, I'll take a shot on one of the plates, and I'll repeat it with the 7.62x39 Remington Model 799. That was a 100-yard plate. I'm not going to crank it out because I got another live round in the magazine. And this is loaded with the Tula. And that's a 100-yard plate also. And it looks like I knocked it down. I gotta redo them straps anyway. Next up, I'm gonna pause this for a second. Okay, the ballistic pendulum. This camera's on me. The center plate will be the 223 out of the Savage, and the right plate will be the 7.62x39mm out of the Remington 7.99. The other camera's running close up on the scene. And now the 7.62x39. Right plate. Just visually, it looks like the 7.62x39's got a lot more punch. Plates are identical in size. But on to our next demonstration. Okay, center plate 223, 55 grain full metal jacket from the Savage. And the right plate will be the 7.62x39 fired out of the Remington 7.99. Tula ammo, 122 grain FMJ. Okay, here are our terminal effects test for the 7.62x39 Tula ammo, 123 grain full metal jacket fired out of the Remington Model 7.99 mini Mauser bolt gun. Standard setup. Just go over it real quick. 6 inches of water, 3/4 inch piece of plywood simulating heavy bone. It's been shot before but marked, only one hole in it. 6 inches of water. Witness board, brand new. Another 6 inches of water, 3/4 inch piece of ply. Another 6 inches of water. 2 previously shot 3/4 inches piece of ply held up by some mortar jugs. See if we can capture the projectile. I'm going to be firing this standard polymer steel cased Tula, which used to be very abundant. Now it is scarce. I'm going to pause this. Set the cameras running, get the rifle, and take the shot. Tilt this down a hair, back a hair. That should get me in the camera. All right, let me go clean the mess up. And we'll be back in a minute. Okay, good result. First jug went in here almost on a black dot. I was compensating actually for the scope. So, dead center. Vaporizer jug number 1. Started tumbling in the water, went through this piece of wood sideways. First piece of 3/4 inch ply. Second jug. I'm unsure where it entered. I think possibly this side. I'm not sure. It just shredded. Witness board. It's obviously going sideways. First piece there. Third jug, less damage, losing energy. I believe it entered here, Tritexed here. It dimpled the plywood. You can see a sideways indentation. And then the slug was laying on the table. Pretty much intact, but flattened. I'd have to weigh it to see what it retained. You can see that. Flattened slug. You know, held together pretty good. Not my choice for deer hunting, but would it suffice? I guess it would. They do make 123 grain soft point, I believe, ammo. This stuff used to be so cheap, it was unbelievable. Now it's, you know, you're paying about the same price you would for 308. I believe they make 150 grain loading if you poke around, you know, hunting specific ammo. It is not the equal to the 30-30 as many say. It is slightly inferior, ballistically and otherwise, but it will make a decent deer round. And that's the results of our internal effect test. On to the next item. Okay, I'm gonna do the 100-yard accuracy target of my wobbly log here. Rest. I'm going to do the first series. It's 4 shots. It's all the magazine holds in this little gun. 7.62x39mm Tula. 122 grain full metal jacket. Steel case ammo. 4 shots at the upper aiming point. I'm going to repeat it with the 28-year-old hand loads. 123 grain spear. Full metal jacket. I think the case is a Lapua. Put my ears on, take the shots. Now, I'm going to reload with 4 at the hand loads. Okay. Bottom target. All right, let's pause this and I'll go down and see what we did. bottom target. Okay, the tool loop shot very tight. It was like MOA. The hand loads not so much, about 3.5. They were both shooting 6 inches high and 1 inch to the right. So I adjusted the scope. I'm going to repeat the shots are marked down there. I'm going to repeat it first with, I'm running out of these hand loads. I only got 3 or 4 left, or 5 left. I'm going to shoot 3 shots of the hand loads, bottom aiming point. Then I'll repeat with 4 shots of the tool. And put my ears on, load the gun, take the shots. I'm assuming these clicks are quarter MOA, so we'll find out shortly. Lost my scope cap. Alright. Let's try the tool now. This load, if memory serves me right, was originally for an SKS, not this rifle. 3. Magazine only holds 4. Upper aiming point. Tool are a bit sticky. All right. I'm going to pause this, go down and check the target, and then we'll be on to our next thing. Aiming point, then I'll repeat with 4 shots of the tool. And put my ears on, load the gun, take the shots. I'm assuming these clicks are quarter MOA, so we'll find out shortly. That's my scope cap. Let's try the tool now. Upper aiming point. sticky. Alright. I'm going to pause this, go down and check it. Okay, I got 4 in a gun. I'm just going to shoot this offhand. Shoulder gun cycling and firing. Fire at the plates down there. I got the other camera on the overall scene on the plates. You know, 4 shots holding the magazine, so I got tooler in there because I only got a few hand loads left. And just plink the plates and shoulder gun in operation. There's a 150. Try the 200 offhand. I missed it. Try that from a bench. Let's see. If I shot 80 yards. That's our little Remington 7.99 mini Mauser. It's a Stava. Going to the next thing. There's a 150. Try the 200 offhand. I missed it. Try that from a bench. Let's see. Last shot. 80 yards. Okay, I had 3 hand loads left. This 28-year-old stuff. I'm going to try 3 shots at the 220 yard plate and the 150 yard plates, and then I'll follow it up with 3 or 4 shots of the Tula, and that should end our little shooting demonstration. Crank the scope up to about 5, because this is a variable. Alright, I'm going to try the 150. Yep, on the money. Let's try the 220. Just above it. So it hit the rocks. Aim a little lower. Missed it. Let's try the Tula. Try the Tula at the 200. Yep, on the money. 220, I should say. Do it again. Yep, hit it again. And the 150. We'll try the little 5-inch plate next to it at the 150. Not bad for a 7.62x39. All right. Go into the summary.
I'm going to try the 150. Yep, on the money. Let's try the 220. Just above it. So it hit the rocks. Aim a little lower. Ah, missed it. Let's try the Tula. Got a Tula at the 200. Yep, on the money. 220, I should say. Do it again. Yep, hit it again. And the 150. I'm going to try the little 5-inch plate next to it at the 150. Not bad. 7.62x39.
Okay, back for our summary here on this Remington 799 mini Mauser and 7.62x39. I had a failure with one of the cameras. The memory card popped out, so I lost some of the footage. I lost the slow motion footage on the terminal effect target, but I had another little camera running and it caught it. It's in a waterproof case, so I was able to retrieve that. I lost the close-up camera coverage. It was the same camera, the close-up of the chronograph, but I called out the velocities on the camera that was on me, and I lost the footage, the 100-yard close-up accuracy target. But I happen to have my, I call it the long-range camera. It's my Kodak camera. It's got like a 50 zoom, optical with digital zoom, on a table, and it was actually recording the shots from 100+ yards away on the paper, and they're visible in the video. So that's what I included. Fun little gun to shoot. A nice companion if you have a 7.62x39 other firearm, SKS, an AK, whatever. With a bolt gun, you're going to get your best potential accuracy. And if I sat, these hand loads I did long before I had this gun, they really weren't set up for this gun. But now they got all this empty brass here, this lapua brass. That's my last hand load. I did these in '97. As long as ammunition's stored properly, it all lights off good. It's a little less powerful than the Tula. But I'll go over the chronograph real quick. The Tula averaged 2,445 feet a second, and that with 122 grain projectile. That translates to 1,633 foot-pounds of energy. Zipping along out of a 20-inch barrel. The hand load was slower, considerably slower, about 180 feet a second slower. 2,268 feet a second, 1,405 foot-pounds of energy. If I do develop a load for this, I think I'll make 125 or 150 grain soft points and develop something that shoots decent out of this. The 7.62x39 is not known as a tack driving cartridge, accuracy cartridge. My main purpose of this is a plinking gun or pest gun. This would make a fine feral hog rifle, this caliber. You can hunt game up to the size of deer with it, but it is inferior to the 30-30 power-wise and energy-wise, and bullet weight-wise. You'll fire 170 grain projectiles out of a 30-30, but it's about 80% of the 30-30, and it will suffice for deer hunting. Did the comparative recoil 223 versus this, virtually the same. Both rifles are pretty light. This is about 6.5 pounds, 7 pounds with the scope. With the Savage 223. The ballistic pendulums, the 8-inch steel plates, they're identical in mass. Visually, it looks like the 7.62x39mm hit it a lot harder than the 223. That's just my subjective impression, looking at the actual shots and then the video. I did some offhand shooting the plates, cycling it, you know, gone from 80 to 150 yards. I might have been using a Tula. I think so. Did an accuracy target. 100 yards, 2 groups. The first group I fired, this would have been the Tula, and this would have been the hand load. This is a point of aim. It was high into the right, and same here. It's about 6 inches high into the right. This is where I was aiming, this is where I was hitting. And one went off the paper. Haven't seen that. I fired a second group. I adjusted the scope, but without shooting it. The actual shots on paper were right after I adjusted it. Just didn't have the time. This was the second group. Could have been me. Come down, it's about 2 inches high. And this one here, you know, you get a nice grouping here and one low. So could be the ammo. Could be me. I was resting on a log on a bench, like an improvised rest. Not the steadiest thing, but that's what you get in the woods, in the field conditions. If you look on the camera, from the long-range camera recording the shots on the paper, you can see real quick a little flash of vapor trail once in a while. If you're shooting 200, 300, 400 yards, and you have the camera focused just right, you can follow the bullet's vapor trail downrange. And that's how you actually spot, you know, run a spot and scope for a shooter, and vice versa. Did some shooting at, I have a 220 yard plate, 150 yard plates. I missed at the 220 with the hand load, but no problem with the tool that tagged it, tagged the 150s. Shot the plates offhand, just shoulder gun cycling, hitting all the plates. 150 to 80, I think I shot there, 50 to 150. And the other camera was on it. What else did we do? Terminal effects test. Jug of water, 3/4 inch piece of plywood, 6 inches of water, 3/4 inch piece of plywood, 6 inches of water, witness board, another 6 inches of water, more plywood, more water behind it. It simulates an animal or a human target. The plywood is heavy bone. Actually, good result out of the Tula, full metal jacket. Blew up the first jug, it started flipping. You could tell when it hit the plywood, it was going through sideways. Ripped the second jug to smithereens, and it was clearly going sideways through the witness board. Hit the third jug, was losing energy, you know, busted it, but not, you know, not dramatic, and smacked the second piece of plywood and left an indent. Recovered the projectile, and I weighed it. It was 121.5 grains, so pretty much didn't lose anything. Started out at 122, and that's it there. It's kind of flattened. You see the rifling marks. Folded, you know, folded sideways, flat. But it was laying on the table there. That'd be a good result. You can kill the deer with that. It's not a soft point, but it would do enough damage, in my estimation, to be able to harvest a deer with a FMJ. I would never really recommend hunting deer with FMJ, but if you had to, and that's all you had, it would do the job. Put my trigger pull gauge out. I forgot to do that in the intro. It broke cleanly at 4.5 pounds. A little creep, and then it broke. But 4.5 pounds is not bad. It's not a true Mauser action or true Mauser bolt. It looks like one, but it's not. It's got this little side piece. I was struggling putting it back in, and I pulled the bolt out because it was just a little offset. It wouldn't go back in the track. But it's a handy little gun. If you run across one of these, it's you know, like I said, a good companion if you have already have a 7.62x39mm firearm. And hopefully one of these days the cheap Russian ammo and the Ukrainian ammo will come back in the country here, and you can enjoy these firearms and shoot them. But it's if you're going to set out and buy a bolt action rifle and a caliber, this would not be the caliber I would recommend your first choice. But it'll suffice. If they made this in 300 blackout, that's probably a better caliber, more inherent accuracy in that cartridge, in my estimation. This is good when there's, you can get a case of 1,000 Wolf. I think it used to be $200 a case before it all dried up. Then it crept up during COVID, 300, 400, 500, 600 bucks a case, and it became prohibitive. Yeah, did that. Like I said, if you run across one of these and it piques your interest, it's a handy little rifle, pretty, attractively made, well made, and Zastava in Serbia, they make good firearms. They have a long history of that in the former Yugoslavia, and like I said, if I tinker around with this a little bit more and develop a hand load for it, I'd probably get 2 MOA or out of this gun on a consistent basis. Some of the tool was shooting real tight, and then it opened up. And I found out with the 7.62x39mm, it's not very consistent accuracy-wise. Not like a 5.56. You can get a 5.56 to shoot far more accurate, a lot easier than you can tinkering around with the 7.62x39mm. But rather than make this video run too long, that'll be it for my 7.62x39 30 Russian short cartridge and the Remington, the very fine, Zastava, Serbian-made Remington Model 7.99 little mini Mauser rifle video. And I'm old gun guy, and with that, have a good day.